streaming is on.
Live streaming is on. Nice. So the GitHub organization is up. That's Ratio to thank for that. We have all the forums associated with collective discussions. You can put up issues, and we have the ability at least to do GitHub projects as well. Something we discussed potentially doing is task management via GitHub projects too. So basically when, as people are working on various things, throwing up a task in the GitHub project, so it's also visible openly and publicly. I don't think we've gotten into that yet, but I'd encourage, and I'll try to do it myself as well, recording work in there. So those are key highlights apart from just what we did and what we'll be continuing to do and focus on actually during this meeting, which is overview and feedback on the metadata structure for the web app with Alpine and Dagwell. At the end, we'll also just have any critical updates from other work streams, but we want to take most of this time to focus on that overview and input. So that's essentially all I think for the slides, and now we can turn it over. So I don't know if Kevin, you want to do any more intro on that, or we just hand it over to Alpine and Dagwell.
Yeah, we'll just hand it over to Alpine and Dagwell. Alpine, Dagwell, do one of you want to share?
Recording has stopped.
Uh-oh. Okay. Matthew, you want to keep get the recording up again. But
so we're still streaming. However, it'll only go for an hour. The streaming, the recording can go on, forever.
Sorry, Kevin, just to clarify, did something happen with the recording?
It stopped. It stopped.
Yeah, so
live streaming still good, but the recording has stopped.
Oh, okay.
And it might have stopped because I started streaming. I don't know. We're testing this on the fly. Fresh feedback on anything. What you got, YouTube? We're coming in live. Hard Fork Cafe, DRep Collective, representing democracy for Cardano and the world. 8 billion people.
I now don't have the option to restart the recording. So I'm guessing it is because of the live stream. Oops, easy.
Yeah, that's actually, I don't have it either, so it's got to be the live streaming overstepping the recording.
Yeah.
all right.
I'm going to stop the stream. So, I don't care. Either way, it's fine.
I mean, if it's is it live streaming to the DRep Collective YouTube? We can just, it's essentially the same as recording it, right? We just download it later.
I'll rip it from YouTube later. That's fine with me.
I dropped a link to the YouTube in the chat, so you can actually go open it and look at yourself.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. Sounds good.
All right. So yeah, Dagwell, Alpine, your turn.
All right. Okay. Hey, good to see you guys today. Dagwell, representing the back end portion of this DRep profile thing we're building here. This beautiful creation that is coming to life right in front of our eyes. Usually Alpine, because he has a lot to share, usually on the front end. I also do have some back end stuff, but the CLE usually puts people to sleep, which is why I love it. I'm able to stay awake in that context. So I feel like it's my superpower. Alpine, sir, kind sir, would you like to share our progress? And then I could go over with some of the things on the back end that we're doing, but figure we let people get in there and kind of see what we're working with right now. If you want.
Yeah, so Dominic, you're going to have to share the register portion because I registered on all of my wallets, so I can
gotcha. Not a problem.
So, but yeah, I can show everything there, and then whenever you're set up, Dominic, we can switch over and show the. Let me just try the screen sharing here.
Get my phone and log into Discord.
And I haven't actually registered or signed up on the app.
Yeah, it will all be all the NFTs. We're just gonna scrape them because a lot of them are test NFTs. But
Yeah, just to clarify, this is all on the pre-prod network, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right.
there is
I
some
don't know
mainnet
if
stuff.
I don't know if that's stated anywhere in particular.
Okay, yeah.
Anyway.
Okay,
Thank you.
In the form, it's still if you are a DRep, we use the Koios API and we'll pull all your SIP 119 info and pre-populate that form from mainnet, so it's a little easier to put it on. That's just there. It'll make an easier transition later too.
Live streaming is on.
So yeah, I'm not much of a designer, so I just kind of copied IOHK for all the. I needed something to go off of. We need a good designer. But yeah, I created a footer for all of our links, which I didn't realize we had this many. But yeah, so whenever you come in here, you connect your wallet. If you don't have an NFT already, it'll say register here. Is that? Yeah, it's coming up. And then it gives you the form. You can put in your SIP19. Dagwell can show that after. But then I'm on mainnet. Or it's thinking I'm on mainnet. Yeah, I'm just changing some wallet stuff. And this is let's go Lace. So, and then it brings you into, it'll get all your metadata. But I don't know if you guys had the Eternal issue. My Eternal keeps like bricking.
Yeah, dude. They had to update it with Google. I would probably uninstall it or reinstall it.
Yes.
It kept.
Yeah, let me do a restart. Dominic, if you want to do the show the register, I'll get this. I'll restart.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and like we're actually working through that. Eternal will let me connect, but it's kind of a pain in the neck. You just gotta unconnect to connect again. I'm going to. I have this mouse that I love that lets you switch between computers, but sometimes it's a little confusing. Okay, so let me go ahead and show. Let's see which window do I want to show. That's not the one. Oh, of course, because I'm on the wrong computer. Excellent. All right. Let's see.
This app doesn't really like background noise, eh? Doesn't have much.
Yeah, I used Jitsi for a while before. It doesn't like me at all. Let's see. Please. Okay. All right. Okay. We're almost getting there, guys.
Yeah, and I guess we'll see whenever this. Nice.
All right, cool. So it only took about 12 years. Good. We've got here. So we've got our Eternal connected. We've got our test data balance. We've got our address. We've got our DRep ID. Alpine, do you want to walk through that at all?
Well, this is all things we get from the SIP30 bridge. Like just when you connect your wallet, you get these things, and DRep ID is there. So one of the things I put in the slides is we should find some way to hash. There should be some way we can do, like right now we're taking the DRep ID and using it as the asset name, so we can just connect the wallet, and then the wallet searches for whether or not there's an NFT of the right policy. And so I think there should be some sort of hashing algorithm, or we can do something so the user can sign to prove ownership. That's something that we should really figure out. But yeah, outside of that, that's everything.
Yeah, and we can do that now, and we can also so we can pull. So when we get on mainnet, you use your wallet. It'll pull the DRep ID from your wallet. So we just want to make sure that the DRep ID that's on file in the SIP 119 and the one that's creating this are the same. So we'll do a check for that. We'll take the DRep and we'll fill the 119. So it won't be that much of an issue on mainnet. But right now, our process to kind of show what we're doing. Sorry about my earlier shot on my vape. To show what we're doing to create the process, we've kind of just populated. So we're going to go to register. Okay, and then here, let's see. I don't really have an image. Oh, I do have images. Look at that.
But I didn't set this should be an IPFS uploader, but we didn't put the time in to do it because we don't have like a dedicated backend. We're running on just like ad hoc Malama backend right now. So I just threw this in so anyone can just throw an image so you can see how the images work. But this should be an IPFS or something similar uploader.
And we have.
Yeah, you can just show the form, Dominic, and I can show the.
Okay.
I got my Eternals working again.
Cool. Do you just want me to? Okay, here's the form, and are you able to? You want to do the rest of it?
Well, yeah.
Walk us through like this whole about your DRep section. What can you put in there, and what do you have questions about? Like, what do we need to add to that section?
Yeah. So this about your DRep, that's the SIP 119. So, like, what's let me go on GovTools.
So this can just pull the metadata though from SIP 119. You don't necessarily have to fill this part out.
Yeah, if you are already a DRep, yeah.
Okay. All right.
At least it used to. Dominic, pop. I just put a DRep ID in this chat. Okay, yeah, perfect. So yeah, it just pulls everything from, even though this is testnet, it pulls all of that info from mainnet, which whenever it's on mainnet will be perfect. But this just pulls all the SIP 119 metadata for the, so the about your DRep is the 119. So then everything under this is the extended fields that the first ones we proposed to get the ball rolling at least. So like there's a little bit of hand holding here in focus areas, right? Like you can just click or you can add the custom interests. We got to decide how much hand holding there is.
Now, hold on. Now, once you add these things here, does that automatically like put you on the DRep map, you know, that Ben wants? Does it put you on that map with those connections to whatever is on the map, or is this something different?
Yeah, this is the information that we're going to use for the mapping. Like, so, and I'll show it after, but like we should have some sort of database on the back end layer before Cardano that kind of works like Blockfrost, right? Like that we can index and find things, but we got to do it the right way and make sure it's still decentralized and all. Like just a good API similar to Koios or Blockfrost for fast indexing of the chain.
Okay.
Right now, yeah, Pseudo. What's up? Was that a hand? I think, I don't know.
Maybe just jumped in. Sudi, you got something?
Oh, I didn't know if it was a hand up. My bad.
It was, I think, but yeah, he hasn't replied yet. So
yeah, Pseudo, on the audio settings there's a little.
Sorry, guys. Yeah, I went through this crazy setup. There's a voice meter software I had to run. But what I wanted to mention is that we did the SIP 60 standard for the music tokens. And, you know, I was really trying to avoid DB sync as a dependency to index those tokens. So I did create an indexer that is a real low process. You know, we would filter for a very unique key to SIP 60. Adapting this is essentially just like a Ogmios call. You just filter to search metadata for a specific field and then add those entries to a database. And then now we can filter just those assets without having to, you know, rely on something like DB Sync or anything like that. Anyone with just a Cardano node would essentially be able to take that index or code, filter the logic, and use that for this purpose. I could post the GitHub. It's actually open source now.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly perfect.
That would be great.
I'd love to see it.
Now we do. So what we built that we haven't really put in yet is that we have an indexer that takes everything at the contract and allows you to like filter by specific name and whatnot. So that index will be perfect. Kind of what we're doing here, just to put you kind of in line with like what I was thinking, and we're going to use that indexer for sure, is that we put everything on the 721 right now, or a lot of it. And I know that seems crazy, but we use that 721 to index it. You know what I mean? Because you can just pull the metadata, one call, and then you can pull the types from everything that you want to put back on the datum or whatnot like that. But we love that. We love the indexer. We don't. So personally, I don't like to use Block Frost. I don't like to use DB Sync. I don't like to use any third party but the node. I want to be able to, when someone comes over, they can just start a node. Please, sir.
I was trying to react. I didn't mean to raise my hand. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah. But no, totally, bro. We are down for that indexer because there is still a thing that we got around it with the 721 because I just I want to go headless. I mean, not headless completely. When we do open source this, we're probably gonna open source it with like Black Frost routes that complete everything, so that way it can go up and running. But for us, and I think Pseudo, you would agree, for us it's the custom middleware between the front end and the node that I personally think is where the magic is. But, okay. Anyway, sorry. Thank you, sir. Indexer for freaking sure. That would be great, and we're definitely gonna take a look at that. And we really appreciate any work that dovetails with the work that we're doing. Save us some steps. Love it. But here's the areas that we put the focus areas and the ecosystem roles and endorsements. I don't know, since we're here on metadata, does anybody else see anything that would like to be added, that needed to be added?
So I can see the focus areas being left up to the individual person to fill out. It's now we're getting into those ecosystem roles and endorsements. How do you verify, that the endorsement is legit or the ecosystem role they actually held? That's a problem that we probably should discuss here today.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
So on the endorsement side, I've been really trying to wrap my head around it. Like I would like if you could endorse somebody else, right? Like if the endorsement, whenever you can more easily find DReps using the system, if you could endorse them and send them like some sort of NFT endorsement that they could, like we could kind of do it how, like in the smart contract, we could link that NFT to the NFT and make sure the indexer knows that. Like that's something that could happen. Or the endorsements thing, that's an ecosystem roles. I feel like that's okay for self-reporting compared to the endorsements. But these are all the things that have kind of been have been bugging me, right? Like it's, and maybe these aren't even the right extended fields, or maybe there's more. But
I imagine too, though, like with ecosystem roles and stuff, like let's say you work for IOG, right? And so IOG could mint their own NFT that lasts about a year. They might fire somebody within that year or whatever, but they could at least get a working NFT that says like, hey, you're part of IOG if you put this in your governance wallet or whatever. So it's like the solution is like the passport thing, putting more NFTs in it. It's just, I want to make sure that's realistic, and that's something.
So I was thinking of a solution that doesn't have as much overhead and kind of relies on the system that we already have in place. So once we have DReps that are signed up and they're within the platform, it's not that hard to actually have a place where someone can go, look through the list of DReps if you're another DRep and click endorse this DRep. Once they do that, we could add that endorsement to a database file, a JSON that's within our platform. So that way, when you go to update your 119, it'll pull that information, but it'll also look at the endorsements page. And if there's any endorsements that match your DRep ID, pull that as well and put those into your endorsements. Just something that we were kind of thinking over that could possibly be a solution.
All right, that makes sense. Shaggy, go ahead.
So one of the things that they were doing at Intersect and Clarity for their DAO stuff, right? Clarity runs a DAO tooling platform and everything. You have to register your wallet for a lot of this stuff, right? So within Intersect, I don't know how far along they got with it, but I remember providing them my wallet address because somebody came and asked for it. So I'm sure that individual entities would probably be the ones that we would want to interface with on this sort of thing. So, as somebody mentioned about IOG minting their own NFT, well, if you look at Clarity's platform, they have specific membership NFTs for some, and then others, it's just if you're a token holder or you hold X amount of tokens, and they even have stuff about stake pool stuff. So I think this is going to get really complicated. And maybe this is something we should ask around about on the partnership section, like see where some of these other projects and platforms have come on this sort of thing. I don't see any easy solution,
I mean, in the meantime, too, you could allow the community just to say, hey, no, this person's lying.
Well,
provide that option for, but I mean, then that can get out of hand as well, too, right? Like, you piss me off, and I go in and endorse it.
Ben would say signal versus noise.
I think at the very least so if we're going to think about adding endorsements, we don't want it to snowball exponentially, kind of like you guys are talking about, because that could get super messy super quick. So my first thing that I was thinking of doing is, hey, let's just keep it to the people who sign up for the DRep collective right now. Allow the endorsements to go to and fro the people who are already within the platform, because they will already have an address, or already have a token on file, which we could use to validate whether they are able to put endorsements or not. So we like Alpine was saying, like we've kind of echoed here, endorsements might not be the play. That could be a whole separate platform, really, that we could draw on an API from. But I do think there is an avenue to test the viability of endorsements within the people who have signed up for the DRep collective, and see if we can get that going. If we can, and I'm not saying we should pursue this, but if we can, that would be a product or a solution that I believe would be valuable. Pseudo, please, sir.
So yeah, this is interesting too, because on the music thing, we were trying to devise like playlist and ranking and things like this. So one interesting thing that we can just really have the self-declaring, and maybe endorsements might not be the proper word. Maybe affiliations makes more sense, right? But then on any one of these things that someone is self-identifying with, other people are endorsing it by maybe attaching a signature on something, or some other way, an upvote, right, mechanism. And this is the credibility score you can track any of these data points with a simple mechanism that somebody essentially can apply through a front end or some other thing. You view metadata, and then people essentially endorse. There's an endorse mechanism to these data points, and then that is how credibility is determined. So yeah, I think maybe affiliations makes more sense for someone to like self-identify with, and then the endorsements is something that is happening socially.
So I like the way that you're phrasing that, because we're still talking about developing kind of the same logic, being able to attach an exterior comment and have that validated by blockchain for the public to be able to see. So like the mechanism of affiliation, I really do think that it does kind of fit that glove a little more with the functionality that we can all see that's easily providable at this moment. So I'm not saying that we change it right now, but I do feel like we could possibly, affiliation might be a little bit easier for people to swallow, but I still think that we need the same solution to attach. So I think it's a win-win. I think once we solve it, we're going to solve it for a couple of different areas. So I like the way that thinking's going, sir.
Yeah, and if you click add role, add endorsement, Dominic, you can see what we're asking for right now. Yeah, pretty basic. You can add multiples. And I don't know if you've seen Ratio, if you click that calendar button, it should pop up the browser's calendar.
Yeah, I didn't look at that, to be honest with you. I just punched in the date,
Yeah, for sure.
which is a nice, I mean, it's good to have that. I do have a question. I think it's up top as far as locale. Is that, I don't know where exactly, yeah, location. Should that be more handheld as well, to where like you have the like, I don't know how much parsing is available on the back end, or like how useful the information would be if I put NC comma USA. Like, is there some on the back end that's going to be able to handle that? And then
yes, sir. Let me, if I can really quick, let's see. And after this, I'm going to have, if it'll let me stop sharing, let's see. Okay. And then, I will let Alpine share in a second. I think Quasar sharing now. Are you sharing, Quasar? Okay, let's see.
No, man, I'm done. That's just my background. I'm not.
Oh, my bad. Sorry, sir. So this is you're taking a peek into the back end. So this is actually yours, Ratio. I was looking through it because when I'm gonna build the slider, I'll use yours. I'll use this as an out case. I have the basic formula for the metadata costs, but this is really good for kind of how we're doing it. It'll kind of show you the loop, show you all the information we're collecting. As you see, it's 65, it's 60, 64 is it? Yeah, you're all good, buddy. Alpine, do you want to jump on it now, sir? Or do you want me to share with the register still?
Wait, you could have talked more about that. That was, you were saying 64. What was that? Where were we going?
I'm so sorry, sir. Let me go ahead and let me parse that again for you. I apologize.
Oh, Shaggy.
Right?
Hold on. Shaggy has something. Shaggy, you got a question here?
I had an interesting tool I encountered in the Odin workspace the other day. It's the Now website platform where you can essentially like build your account, and it would be pulling it directly out of GitHub and turns into a web page. On there, they have a process that exists already for parsing the location metadata, right? So maybe we could build off of something like that, pre-existing standard, and then it gives us a wider reach of, geo-tagging specifically. I like that concern. So
we have that functionality. I don't know if you want to bring it over or not. Like, we're doing a carbon project in Hawaii where people have to claim the land that they own to set up a facility. So we have the whole TMK with geolocations where you can just like touch base on where you are. And so like we didn't know if that functionality was going to be, you know what I mean? Because sometimes people get a little touchy about that. So,
but there's a lot of ways to tackle this too, right? Like, are we going to use,
are
we going to use coordinates? Are we going to do like Memphis, Tennessee, right? So Memphis, comma TN, or is it going to be TN, comma United States? And you got to be able to intake all of this stuff. So, figuring out what approach we take to this, I think would really help. And maybe not narrowing it down too hard would be easier for a lot of the crypto community to stomach, because I don't know how many people feel comfortable just blasting their city and
exactly.
But
maybe time zone
putting time zones, right? Or maybe just at a nation level. So is this something you guys would be able to have multiple formats for accepting this. I know with the SIP60 thing, one of the index tools that we had put together, I messed up a lot of metadata when doing some of these mints by putting like a V in front of the version number, and that was unnecessary. But Sudo was able to have it parse that as well, right? And you know, so if there's multiple ways we can take this, maybe a wider net, you know.
And I haven't showed you my route specifically for the creating update, but so since I'm parsing the 721 and I'm doing the SIP, what I've done is I pretty much parse every line, and on the back end, I have a lot of control on where I want to display certain information that I'm pulling on the CIP68. I want it to be the only thing I don't want to be flexible is the 721. I want that to be able to be permanent, so I can pull whatever. I can just query that and pull whatever information I want off of it, you know, and stick it on the datum where we want people to see that. So that, please, did you? I'm sorry, Alpine. I wasn't trying to go away. Alpine was actually showing the magic of the actual part. I'm sorry, of the actual minting and it going on chain and what it shows. Let's see. There we go. Sorry about that.
No, yeah, I just had to reset something. So yeah, if you have an NFT, you can just you just view your portfolio. We can have the edits in here.
I like that screen.
So, and yeah, again, IOHK, thank you for the don't sue me. So yeah, it has all of our info here. And yeah, you can just like this is the NFT that it pulls from chain. And what this does is the indexing. So if you go to the browse DReps, you can see here, it's a very lazy system. It's just pulling every NFT.
POC, guys.
Oh yeah. Get it working, then automate, right? So this is, I have 8 testnet wallets, as you can see, like this. And so just as we were going through this is the mermaid map that is generated from all of these NFTs. There's a few different things like orgs. I don't know how does an organization add to this? I feel like they're a major part of the ecosystem map. And I don't know if you guys seen in the old map on I'm local right now, but on the website that's up right now, it has like a pseudo NFTs that have organizations, and it really helps with the mapping. But so we got to figure out, like, do organizations, should that just be part of, we could derive organization based on DRep, like from them self-reporting, right? But yeah, it's just, how do we do that? And or should organizations be able to go in here, and that's part of the endorsement piece? Like there's a lot of things to talk about around that. But so this is looking at somebody else's NFT on this page, and then just simple delegate button. That, yeah. But so this mapping piece that's where the indexer comes in really handy. However, we can, the faster we can index this, and me and Ratio have been talking a lot about like how the mapping, where does the person start? Do you just see the whole map, or is there certain indexes that you can select first, like go by region, or like just anything that, any of those extended fields we can almost zoom into so they can start their journey through that map, right? Or maybe they don't even, maybe it's just a map we airdrop and let people, I don't know the play for the map, but whenever there is better indexing, we can really start linking these things together, right? And we're going to erase all these NFTs and let everyone do it. So as long as the information is on the policy, then we can begin to start mapping and like make sure it looks good and make sure the connections make it, yeah, all those things.
Will you refresh, please, sir?
Quasar, do you have a question?
Yeah, some questions and comments. So there's a group of constitutional delegates in the constitutional delegate chat that were part of the Cardano Tech Week before the Constitutional Convention that built a DRep incentivization prototype. And they're currently working on that. I asked if they would offer feedback here because they have certain things that they're looking to do to track incentivization processes for DReps. And regardless of everybody's thoughts on that, let's not go whether it should be or not. How do we map it? I don't think they're ready to share all of their information. I think they need help with the tech parts of it. I think I might even be part of the group. I just haven't attended any of the meetings. But that's let's look at that as a party, a group, constitutional delegates that are also DReps that are part of the marketing working group of Intersect that that are also parts of all these other communities. So how do we actually filter or create this taxonomy of organizations, affiliations, and associations? It's daunting as hell, but I think it's the only way that we'll be able to do anything with a little bit of confidence that we've given it a good shot to not let people easily just voluntarily drop into a bad actor syndrome and request funds on proposals, get paid to vote certain ways and see where their influence is coming from. So those are the two things. It'd be cool to see where that group is, and then also look at look at this budget. This is the budget submitted by the budget committee, which includes the Cardano Summit of 2025 by Cardano Foundation for 3 million ADA, and then you're gonna have all of these vendors. So you guys are mapping spaces, missing places or actions, and I think that's where I'm not saying that you're missing that. I think that's
no
in the mapping of the ecosystem.
Let me clear this
and
up.
I'm done rambling with that.
The map is like a promotional tool, essentially, that Ben wants. He wants us to have a good map. He wants people to be able to add each other to it so people can discover what's going on in the ecosystem. So it's got promotional and education. That's the purpose of the mapping. Now, this is where we get into the passport, which is when you become part of the DRep collective, you mint a passport. Now, once you have the passport, right, it's like Disco Solaris, where you can mint it. That's somebody else. My bad. But you get the NFTs on top of it, right? In the original incentive model that I talked to, I think it was El Cryptonaut, Nicodemus on Twitter about, was you slowly collect these NFTs, and then at regular intervals, the system reads what NFTs you have in your wallet, and it says, okay, you voted on these issues. We don't care how you voted. You're just going to get paid this amount of money for this NFT. So you have, let's say, 10 NFTs, and they're all worth, 10 ADA as your payment. You get paid out 100 ADA after 3 months or whatever. And it could be yearly too. It just depends on if we can get a budget to actually do this, and what sort of value we want to prescribe to each NFT in terms of how important it is to vote. For example, if we did a constitutional update, maybe we'd want, to really incentivize people for that. So we'd pay them 200 ADA for that. And then maybe we could also say we're going to pay you more if you write more about your decision. So if you have, 500 words in your decision, you get the base 200 ADA. But if you do 1,000, maybe you get 225, and it could scale up like that. And then also, like, if there is a company out there and they do want participation on their governance action, do we allow them to say, like, hey, you know, we're going to sponsor you guys 500,000 ADA or whatever to, you know, airdrop that through your NFT system in order to get people to vote on our proposal? So that's also an ethical question that we have to solve with that. But that was the original idea. You would track participation with the passport, and then you'd pay based off of what was collected by the passport.
But look at this as well, and this is something that I think is kind of amazing. So obviously we want 100% capture of DReps in our collective. You know, that would be amazing. But until we get to that 100%, let's say we only represent 30% of the DRep collective at that time of the total DReps. Well, guess what? Our block now is 30% of the DReps opinions that we can easily share with people through a contract, an API that I already have created that comes back and shows everybody's information. We can filter for yes or no votes for what we want. So at the very end, I like utility. So yeah, I like the fact that we can self-report, but one is not good enough for me. It also has to do something else. So it self-reports, and also it becomes a database of everyone who's involved in the DRep collective, their opinions, where they're voting for. So it gives a very legitimate standing of the people that we're representing. Hopefully we'll get them all, so that way it'll be a complete ecosystem. But until then, let's make sure that we, in my opinion, have a verifiable source of information that we can validate within our group in a way that is so damn good that it just doesn't make any sense for someone else not to do it. So that's where I'm at with that, and I hope that makes sense, Quasar. I'm sure that you hate it because I'm African American, but I'm gonna go through it, you know. I mean, it's just, you know, it's what I take as a developer, you know, in this community. It's tough sometimes, but I put my skin on every day, and I come out and I face the music, and I deal with people like Quasar, and I just put it behind me and put some beats on the back, and I make it. Thank you, Quasar. Thank you.
My pleasure, man. I'll do what I can. God damn it. Here, you sent me rolling in dark mode. What's up?
Dark mode, baby. Hey, I ain't got no choice. I roll dark mode from when I wake up to when I go to bed. That's how I roll, bro. That's why I only do light mode on my computers. I need some contrast. You know, man, I need some mix up here. Oh, so, okay, we went to a weird place. But
so I don't know, like, I don't know if we're going through the what is this? The slideshow. We added some stuff, but we kind of touched on it anyway, and a lot of them are still empty. I took a stab at Ben's. I don't know where Ben is, but yeah, there's a lot of things that we're going to need to continue with this. Like this is running on the Malama server, just ad hoc, and it should be on a dedicated server, obviously. And the front end,
just using our back end. We're not complaining, but we would love to build up a separate one. You know what I mean? Because we run our process in parallel.
Yeah, but like we just gotta start putting things, like making the DRep collective actually have some things, and like it's
now you want
designer too? Would be amazing. We should talk about like where this is going. Like it was good. We had the good metadata chat. I think everyone understands on the metadata side what kind of like what we need and what we're wondering about. Like I hope, and if not, like throw it. Ratio knows where to put everything. I'm guessing Discord best for discussion right now, and we can have, if there's any discussions, we can just keep like it. I don't know do we go with the CIP 148? Do we try and hijack 119 and extend it? I think doing our own CIP in that process, building on top of 119 would be good. But there was some people saying 119 is not finalized. I don't know if that's still the case. Maybe we hijack that. Or maybe 119 is good enough and 148's extended, but like all of these things that have to be figured out that I can't answer.
Right. And what information do we want to display on Datum? For me, we can we've arranged it so we can pull them both up at will. 721 that has everything, and the Datum. Datum's a bit cheaper, a bit easier to pull. And then I would love to be able to send an API out to another project, and they can just, here's everything that they're doing and saying, and that makes a lot of sense to me. But we want to make sure that it makes sense to everybody else. To kind of go over, I know we got a little sidetracked, to go over the things that we've updated for this current meeting. Now you can go in and you can actually mint an NFT. We do have the functionality to send it to your wallet, but we have not updated that yet right now. Right now it's going to a gallery. We also give you the option to update your NFT, and it'll take the new status and put it on the datum. We do need to arrange that a little more properly. We'll show you. I have it up right now. It's not a big deal, but we can show you actually how the datum looks and what we want to display, because people, when we pull this on the information, we want to, hey, do you want your extended fields to be front forward, or do you want your CIP 119? Where do you want them? We have them so we can arrange them anywhere we want. And then next week we should be able to finish the address where it'll send it to you, and also the sliding scale on the transaction for this POC. We don't want anyone to have a failed transaction right now. We just want it to work so they can see the process. So I will update. I won't put any guardrails right now. I put it pretty high. I have it set for 25 ADA. That's for you, Ratio. That's for you, big boy. So if you want to go in and redo it, that is fine. And, we just want to continue with that. Feedback on the metadata, feedback on the platform would be fantastic. How you guys want it to be shown, what you want included, and then go from there. And also talk about resources. Don't get me wrong, I love building. We both love building. But in the end of the day, we don't want to have 2 projects running on our server. We don't mind. We have it modular so we can do stuff like this and enjoy ourselves. But for production, we want to get this up on something that is paid for by someone else, so the responsibility is split. Because right now it's like, if your server doesn't fail, if it fails, whatever. Sorry guys. So a split responsibility would be excellent. And it would I think it would show everybody's got skin in the game.
Yeah, we need a good DevOps system, like a good CI/CD pipeline. We have to, just in the best interest of we don't just to get stuff off of Malama that doesn't need to be there, and there's no need that the collective should have their own infrastructure running things. Me and Dominic, I worked over 100 hours last week just so we could have something to show here and doing what we do, and it's not sustainable, right? We got to start, the working groups we have now are good, but if this is going to be what it should be, then we have to we need some soldiers, right?
We don't want burnout.
Yeah,
we want to come to this and be happy. Sorry, Rachel, go ahead.
Let me cut in for you real quick, Quasar, before you talk. So I think I already talked about, as far as the collective having its own infrastructure, at least spinning up a server that can help support and offload some of that stuff from Malama. I don't know if that was in the last meeting or offline or whatever. Also, I did some very basic and generic app of basically images of the app. As you click on a drop down menu, I got sent it to Alpine. I didn't get much feedback on it, but I didn't put much effort into it. I did put effort into it, but I didn't continue and pound on with it because I don't know if that's valuable. I don't know if you already have something set up in y'all's mind as far as what needs to be built, what y'all want to build. Whereas I kind of got something in my mind, but y'all are builders and I'm just one person, and then you got the collective and everything. So, yeah, I just wanted to say that, and yeah, that's it. That's all I got really right now.
Yeah, I'd seen I probably didn't respond to that, Ratio. Yeah, so that's wireframes, and it is the word you're looking for, kind of, right? So, but it's hard to know. It's hard to do the wireframes until we really land all of the data that what are the extended fields, what are endorsements, even, right? We have to really decide on all of those things, and then we can do the master plan for wireframes and the user flow, right? User journey, user flow. And so once all that information is finalized, or at least I'll say finalized, because we need systems in place. What happens later if we realize, oh, this should be on the extended metadata? There should be, in the nature of Cardano, backwards compatible. How do we add things? How do we what's optional? It has to be backwards compatible even through us, right? And yeah, like, so once we really dial in the metadata and the extended fields and everything we're taking, then we can really focus in on those wireframes. And Quasar, Dagwell.
Hey, go ahead,
I don't know if-
Dagwell. I'll go after.
No, Q. You've been waiting patiently, sir. I'd like to do the same for you.
All right, wonderful. So I'm new blue here. I haven't signed up for a DRep. I want to onboard people. I want to get the feedback that you guys are asking for. I click on the GitHub link, and it's giving me 2FA required. I'm brand new.
Yep. That's a requirement for GitHub. That's a requirement for the server too. For you to, you talking about for you to be a member of the server?
Actually, I'm talking about everyday Joe Blow future DReps.
You should be able to go in and click on anything as a future Joe Blow. I'm not part of the server because the server is public. So whatever 2FA you do or do not have set up on your account does not affect whether or not you can access the data. It affects whether or not you actually have access whether or not you become a member of the server or of that account.
Okay.
Quasar.
Where do I go to offer feedback if I go through the
So you go to discussions, you go to discussions, go to forums, and then go to developer feedback form. Click start discussion, fill in the data. Click something along those lines. And then when you're done filling in the form, there's a green button at the bottom, and then that'll submit the form. And then somebody will get pinged on it, and then they'll pick it up. Depending upon what that form is for. If it's a work stream flow, if it's developer feedback, or if it's onboarding.
Yeah,
it's all in there, and all instructions should be everywhere as well. If you have issues following instructions, or if there's no instructions and you need them, let me know. I'll make them. Like, the idea is to make it as simple as possible for people to approach.
Yeah. Ratio, maybe we put that stuff on the main README, like in the root of the, just like how do people, and it might be there now, but like as soon as you go to the organization on GitHub, it just shows the README that has all the information on where to go, how to leave feedback, what to leave feedback on, all this.
If that doesn't mess your flow up, Ratio, we'd love it.
Yeah.
Seriously.
No, I just have to look at it and see if there's something to where people automatically go. There is a README and it's on the landing, so I have to see if the organization can have its own README, which I'm pretty sure it can. I just got to figure it out. That's all. Thanks.
Yeah.
I know you have your own thing, but I just really quick, I want people to keep in their mind that the way we've built this is we can put the sections wherever we want. We can add sections at lib. We just add it to the body of the payload. So we try to make it as flexible and future facing as possible. So once we just get down what we want to add, it will not be a problem to add it. I just want to let everyone know there's not a technical barrier in implementing the metadata that we'd like to see represented. That's it.
Okay. Quasar, if people really can't use the GitHub, just use that developer feedback form for Google that I put in the chat there. I will be checking that. It's not, what we ideally want people to do, but if they really can't figure out how to use GitHub, just give them that link.
Well, here's the thing too, just so you know, like in order for you to comment on anything in Discord, you got to have a Discord account, right? Same thing for X, same thing for pretty much every other platform. You're not going to be able to just pop in and go to the website and start adding stuff and expecting people to respond, because you gotta have an account.
Yeah,
I do want to say something though, real quick, about the SIP 119 extension, or kind of like riding on the coattails of that, or doing SIP 148, is that like I think we plan for, like, if that doesn't happen, right? Like if we don't get that through, can we still launch a product without having those fields into where they just roll into a database and then they get indexed? So anyway, that's it. Thanks.
All right, let Matthew go first. He had something to say, and then pseudoscientist.
Hey, yeah, I was just because some of you guys may be able to stick on for a while longer, but we're a little past our normal time. So I just wanted to check if we have sort of outcomes that we want to shoot toward, maybe things like what are our next steps, And Kevin, I know you're sort of coordinating the different work streams. So if you have a view on what exactly we should be looking to take from this meeting as our outcomes and what we're shooting for next.
Wait, let me hand deliver those, Kevin, so that way you're not crazy. We're gonna update the end for the back end. We're gonna update the address. We're gonna update the ability to do a sliding scale for the UTXO to pay for it, and we're gonna still look at finalizing the metadata. The only reason I jumped in, Kevin, is because that is my wrap up from the technical section. I'm gonna back off now.
All right, let pseudoscientists go next, and then Quasar.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment on the SIP standard, on how our dependency on that is. We passed SIP 60, and the biggest problem with having a SIP passed is that there is no enforcement on it. Essentially, you're outlining a standard for other people to follow the same structure that you have. So this is allowing for interoperability for other projects to adopt our same standard, right? So even having the SIP, there's no guarantee people adopt it, right? So
I fucking love you, Pseudo.
I would say there's no dependency that we have on officially having it, because us having a SIP afforded us nothing more. Like, we still had to create web tools to create the enforcement on the SIP, right? Because yeah, cool, the SIP exists, but if people don't read it and follow it, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, this is exactly why we had our whole system running on queries that off of Datum that our system could read and process, like, mwah. And then we were like, oh, Black Frost is not accepting the format. So we had to go through and think the whole thing, because we do need these tools to be accessible to outside third parties. So
let me highlight something real quick. This is really where that partnership role needs to be focusing. That partnership role needs to be focusing on integrating and ensuring that other projects that are in the same ecosystem, in the same sphere, are abiding and adopting this SIP, right? This set of SIPs, rather, right? Otherwise, it does us no good. So that's a big challenge, but we probably need to find somebody who's well suited for this.
Real quick, I just want to say that, and I'm really tired of saying this, is if you want to be part of the build team and you want to be part of the GitHub organization, then you need to send me your username, or if you have been sent an invite, accept the invite. That way we can figure out what it is that you want to do, and then hit you up on a project board or something like that. And speaking of that project board, I've actually posted issues up on there. They're not mine, but there are things that the collective needs to happen within the collective. And whatever their importance is, I don't know. There's just been, I don't know, from my end, from what I'm looking at, it's been a lot of talk, a lot less activity. There's acknowledgement of the things that need to be done, but then it just disappears as soon as we close this meeting window. So anyway, that's it. That's done with my rant off the soapbox.
Well, and I kind of want to direct everyone back to the process that you guys have been trying to put in place. We need that work stream report filled out on a weekly basis by at least the people heading up each of these sections, right? So if nothing got done, report it. I don't care. I think that needs to be, something we do anyways. We need to get into the habit of that.
Hey, Rachel, we put those links in Discord again, because this morning I was like, hey, I think we might have got that metadata standard caught up this morning, but I did not report the back end. And I want to do that, at least in the morning. Sometimes it seems like just another task, but usually the morning, Wednesday of the meeting, I'm fresh. I'll do it. You know what I'm saying? So just the links.
Which links are you?
Slide update links. Anyone who's got them.
Oh, for the work stream, yes, updates. Sir. Yeah, I'll put those on the resources and the Discord server. I'll put them in there. And
also,
then they'll be viewable to everyone.
In there too. The weekly.
I'm sorry.
Put the forms in there too. The weekly work stream.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That's really going to help me out, bro. That way I can help us.
Yeah, I just updated the the slideshow itself. Is there something else besides that?
Oh, never mind. I take back everything I said. We were right on the ball like we're supposed to be. I don't know what's going on with the rest of you guys.
Yeah, unless there's a form or something. But yeah, I don't know what the best way is. We just updated the slideshow.
Yeah, if you want to update the slides directly, that's fine. Or if you want to do the form thing, that's fine too.
Okay, sweet.
So.
I can do the form thing and then let you do the slides. Or yeah. I gotta wrap up here in a minute.
Yeah, we got a hard stop that we got to go to at 10:30. Guys, we thank you. Is there anything else? I don't want to be disrespectful and just talk and run, but
No, I think that's great. Does anybody else have items they want to close on? Otherwise, refreshed commitment to doing the forms for the updates for the different work streams. Maybe we do just, this time we really focused on the